Hey, what's going on with the real estate market up here in the Jacksonville metro area? Well, I'm going to take a look tonight and show you give you a summary what happened in the month for 2025. That's right, I'm going to break it down. And as of the filming of this video now, I'm going to show you what the active listings were. Hey, I'm breaking it down into the main counties around the Jacksonville metro. Of course, Jacksonville's Duval County, but I'm also going to show you Clay County, Nassau County, and St. John's in our data. Also, I'm going to break down also what we've got as far as the median price for the month of, and then also the price per square foot. I'm going to look at some of those interest rates too, see what happened over this last month. Hey, right now I'm on location in Clay County, and in backdrop is this beautiful mural in Keystone Heights, okay, which is in the southern part of Clay County. And I think I might just use this now for my show because it looks like I might be doing this monthly now because I had so many people request it. You know, I'm just a regular guy who happens to be a real estate agent and also a termite inspector and a pest control inspector up here in North Florida. And because I'm a realtor, I have access to the MLS account, and that's where I'm going to give you my data here tonight. So let's get started first and take a look at those interest rates. All right, here we're going to look at the rates for November, and at the top we're starting off where we ended up, and you can see there at the top I've got the 30-year fixed, the 30-year FHA, and then the 30-year VA that we're looking at here, okay, in this chart. Now, first thing you notice is that 30-year FHA and VA, they're pretty close to each other, okay, they stay pretty close. The difference is between the 30-year fixed. So as we see the 30-year fixed here, we ended up at 6.22, and you can see that that is a drop from down here at the bottom when we started off at 6.33. So as we look during that, you look at those FHA rates and the VA rates in about, let's see, November 20th and all, that's when they went into the fives, just kissed the top of the fives, but they get into the fives. So we started to see into some fives because we were told pretty much all year in the beginning, I remember a lot, that we were going to be in the fives, we were going to end up in the fives. Well, it didn't happen. We're in December now, and it just didn't happen. Will it? Well, I'm going to show you some graphs here that's really going to, make you think. But here you can take a look and see how those rates fluctuated, some ups and downs during this month. Okay, here we're looking at, a line graph of the month of November, okay? As you can see right up here, it's November 1st through November 30th. All right, now, look at this curve, and I'm going to show you the, well, let me just show you the 30-year fix so we can flip back and forth. Look at the difference, okay? There we are. Now we'll go back to the FHA. And I'm just going to show the FHA and not the VA because they're pretty close. But look at that difference there. All right, as you can see through the month, we did go down. But look at right here where we had that big dip and everyone thought, okay, this is it. I'm going to hold off. I'm going to wait because it's going down even more. And then what happens? It goes up. Now let's look at the 30-year. Same thing. See this drop here? Everyone's saying, that's it. That's it. But then all of a sudden, boom, it went up. Now, where's it going from here? This is why I keep saying you can't play the game to try to time the rates. You have no idea. Unless you're in a real tailspin. If we get into like a crash situation and you've already got something put away for that day, then you could make out. All right, now let's look back over the year. Because where are we at from a year ago? And we obviously, right here's our current, now this is the FHA rates, and look at, we are a lot lower than we were, okay, a year ago at this time. So back in November right here, you can see they were at 6.57, took a big dip right there, and that was in December, okay, that it went down. So we'll have to see how this December plays out, but look at that, okay, up in the sixes all through there, versus here we're in the hit 6 but then into the 5s, okay, so we did have a drop from last year. Now let's look at those 30-year fixed, and as you can see here, kind of the same pattern. Look at this though right here, these little dip-de-doos here. Now this, what I want to point out, look how flat the peaks are right here, okay? You see the peaks there with stayed. We dropped, came back up, dropped again, came back up, dropped, but it didn't drop as far as those last two drops, okay? So what's that mean? Well, we're just going to have to watch it and see. Well, as you can see, rates have come down quite a bit from last year, okay? But still, it hasn't boosted the housing market. And why is that? Because the price of the homes is still too high. That's right. It doesn't matter. The rates could be 1%, but a lot of people still can't get into a house right now because of the price of the homes. All right, so now let's take a look at that MLS data I was telling you about. Now, this is going to be the Northeast Florida MLS, and that is the MLS I belong to, and so that's where this data is coming from. So let's take a look at that right now. All right, here we are into the back end of my MLS account, and since this show is about Jacksonville's real estate numbers, where I give you the real numbers in real estate here out of the MLS, it's only fitting that the name of our MLS is called Real MLS, okay? So what we're going to do is get the data only from the Real MLS, which is basically the Northeast Florida MLS, and that's the data I'm going to be using. Even though you see these other MLS boards there, they're very small amount of numbers, so to keep everything uniform, I just do it in the Northeast Florida MLS, or the Real MLS. All right, this number you're seeing right here, first off, this here, now that we're doing a monthly review, and this is for the month of November, this is actually the amount of active listings on the last day of November. So next month I'll show the number of listings, active listings, on the last day of December. Now that's going to be New Year's Eve, so we'll see how that goes. It all depends on how far I'm into my maker's mark on whether I get this right or not. So we've got 9,337 that are active listings as of the end of November. Okay, next we're going to sit here and look at how many went active under contract in the month, and that was 1,178. And the next number we're going to look at pending, and that was 1,095. Okay, now I'm taking you to a list of graphs here that are in the back end of the MLS, and this is a market summary that they give. And now this, of course, is just the Northeast Florida MLS, and this accounts for all types of homes and everything, so it's a total. Now, as we can see here, this first chart here is the number of listings, okay? Now you see the blue color codes at the bottom. Blue is active listings, red is new listings, and orange is sold listings. So right here, let's click on it here, and we see right there, N25 is November of 2025. Active listings, okay, was 10,908. Now they must be using like a average or something like that. There's some that went up and down, because the number I showed you, the active listings, was at that last day. It was just what was live at that time, where this is probably an average through the month, which is what they're using for this chart. Okay, new listings, as we can see here, 2,347, and then what you have here, sold listings, 1,782. That's what's sold. And what's nice about this chart, we go back and see, you can see the previous months, so we can follow this along. And here, since I'm just starting now, I don't have any previous months on this show. You can see where we were with that, on how things fluctuated, and things kind of have stayed pretty close to the same, except with those active listings a little bit, but pretty much not too far off. Next chart here is the listing prices. Okay, active median list price, the new median list price, and the sold median list prices. So you can see here the active median list price was $3,069,990, and this again takes in everything, okay, and all counties that are listed in the Northeast Florida MLS. All right, next we're looking at the new median list price, and we see that $364,900, and then we see the sold median price $349,999. Now, something that's interesting, look at the new median price. I mean, from from, when was it? From the summer, basically, June, July, August. Holy crap, it went way downhill. Okay, they had a horrible summer, so, you know, they dropped the prices drastically, but now the prices are going back up, and they seem to be going up for the others too. All right, so what do? Are you gonna wait? I mean, a lot of people say the crash is coming. We'll see. I bet a lot of people thought the crash was coming this summer when they saw this data. Okay, next is the absorption rate in months, and this here basically is if nothing else went on the market, and how long would it take to sell out the existing inventory, and you see we're at 4.63 months. Now, look at this. I mean, it shot up, I mean, drastically through the year here, okay, and then now it's going back down. Now, it's not going down as fast as it went up, but it's going down at a pretty good rate, okay? So that's, you know, that's not a good thing for prices, okay? Next, we're looking at the sold to list ratio. This here is the percentage of what that house sold versus what the list price was, and I believe it's the original list price. Let's see here. The sold to list ratio displays the average ratio of sale price to the original list price. That's correct. So we can see here that, you know, earlier this year, it was up there, okay? I mean, that was a higher percentage. Look at that, 94.4. And then we dropped, and last month it went to 92.9, and now it went back up again, 93.3%. Days on the market, okay, we're looking at that. The days on the market were way down, okay, which is, I mean, it's kind of crazy how all this was. But the days on the market really dropped also right before the summer. Then they started going up after the summer, and you can see where we're at there right now, and we're at 84.5 for your, probably that's your average days on the market. And then over here is, you know, I don't really look at this much. I don't care. This is just the price volume in dollars. You can see there on the total dollars there for the active listings, new listings volume, and the sold sales volume. Now here's some interesting information here. The way they took these charts and put it into where you can easily see from last year's November to this, and the percentage of change, and then the year to date. And we're almost the end of the year, so, you know, it would almost be like a whole year anyhow. But it gives you the average list price right there, what it was last year and what it is now. The median price, I like going by the median price. You see the median price pretty close, okay? Not much change since last year. Average sales price, then your average median sales price, and that median sales price is also pretty close. Now, what isn't close is the average days on the market, which increased by 15% since last year. Okay, this is where I give you a little bit more detailed information that's targeted towards these counties and some specifics. All right, so this is all Northeast Florida MLS. Here we are, November. This is our first episode of this new series, okay? Now, right here, this row here, you can see active listings as of the end of the month. So that's total. That was that 9,337 that I showed you. Total, all sold in the MLS for the month of November, 1,782. Now this is where I break things down a little more. Now I'm looking at the 4 main counties up here. I know in the past I've done, you know, more counties, but I'm just targeting towards these because these are the most popular, what people are interested in. First there is Duval County, then Clay County, St. Johns County, Nassau County. Now, as we're going to, we got 3 sets of numbers. So the first set of numbers here is, now these are single family homes, okay? I'm just targeting single family homes since that's the most common, okay? That's the biggest bulk. Yeah, I know there's townhomes, there's condos, and there's manufactured homes, but they don't make up as much, you know, the biggest bulk is single family homes, and that's what most people are interested in. If you're interested in something else, you can contact me, and then I might be able to get that data for you and send it to you. All right. Sold for Duval County. Okay, total sold was 857 single-family homes. Okay, for the Duval County. Out of those, I'm sorry, I misspoke. I got ahead of myself. Total sold of everything in Duval County was 857.
Out of those, the single family homes that sold was 666. And the median sold price for Duval County for November was $334,990. Next is Clay County, where the total sold units in Clay County was 214. Out of that 214, 171 were single family homes. And the median price for the single family homes was $349,999. Okay, St. Johns County, total 446 sold. Out of that, single families was 334. The median price for single family homes in St. Johns County, $508,992. All right, so you see where the expensive county is, okay? Everyone wants to live there, and that's where all that new construction is and a lot of expensive homes. Okay, you've got these expensive neighborhoods all in that area. All right, and you know, those master plan communities. All right, Nassau County, that's north of Jacksonville, and that is 89 total sold there, and 70 of those were single family homes, and their median price $447,562. Now the highest days on the market was 645 days on the market was the top. They go as low as 0 all the way up to 645. This here is because a lot of people like to keep track of the new homes sold, and these are single family homes is all I'm showing for this, and I'm breaking it down by Duval, Clay, St. Johns, and Nassau County. So as you can see, in November there was 116 new single family homes sold in Duval, 51 in Clay County, 128 in St. Johns County, and 27 in Nassau County. Now this here is an interesting chart of numbers that I took out of where they took things out of the graphs and they put it into a chart, and then I put it in Excel so that I could scroll and freeze the top numbers for you. It just makes it easier to look at. What we've got, and it's interesting here, in this first column here on the left here, you see sold listings, okay? And what they break it down, these numbers here, is how much the homes were in that price range. So you see in this column here is the price of the homes, and over here you've got how many were sold in this month, which is November 2025, and then last year in November, okay, and the percentage of change, and then the year to date, okay? So it's kind of interesting. You can look, I'm not going to go through every one of them, but you can pause the video if you like to look at particular numbers for any price range and just see what they are and where they were. Now we see here the biggest drop looks like was in the 400s. Okay, the next one was in the 250s to almost 300. The next over here is the new listings that we got during the month. So we look down here at the bottom of the total, and for the month of November there was 2347 new listings. That is down 18%, as you can see here, from last year at this time, the amount of new listings. And then of course they break them down by the price points also, and you see a big loss was, look at this right up here, at 36% less, the 250 to, you know, almost 300. And a lot of these really lower numbers are like some fixer-uppers and maybe some mobile homes and stuff like that, because remember, this is coming from the MLS. This isn't single-family homes. This is everything. Hey, I've had so many requests to do something after I sunsetted the Bubble Watch show. This isn't Bubble Watch, but it is going to give you a monthly summary. So I'm going to continue to do this on a monthly basis to give you a recap so we can compare the month to see if we're going to see if that bubble is going to burst, which it hasn't yet. So until the next video, I'm out of here.